Okay, this is the video about how to get emails routing through the board at pultimate.ca address such that we can continue to only pay the $1 or the $5 monthly membership and yet still get more addresses like these for board members. So let's jump right in with player dev at pultimate.ca. We're going to copy this and we're going to open up a new window in G Suite. So I'm typing in G Suite. And you can do a search for G Suite and it gets you to this page. We're going to sign in as they want you to tell them which domain it pertains to. What is this? Okay, so that was weird, but this is the page it'll take you to anyway. We're going to sign in as board at pultimate.ca with the board at pultimate.ca password, which right now Brad Sodden has, but there will be a keeper of that password, and I'm sure whoever inherits Brad's position will have that password as well. And from here we can go to users. And now we're going to find the board user. Probably this one, PUL board. Let's see if that's the right address. Board at pultimate.ca, perfect. So we're looking at account because that's where the aliases are, and we're going to be creating a new alias. Right now you can see that we've already stacked up a couple. We've got secretary and fields. So let's add a new one. And we're just going to stick that in there and see what happens. Player dev. And they autofill the domain. Pultimate.ca, so we're going to take that out. And let's save that. Okay, we've created the new board alias. It says alias is updated. Great. So now any email coming to playerdev at pultimate.ca pretty much just arrives in the board email address. Now, the routing for this actually happens in a private Gmail account. So I'm going to open up Firefox because that's just a different browser in which I can, look at all these really annoying Firefox homepage celebrity articles. And I'm going to go to gmail.com. Let's see if my browser has remembered PUL board. And it has. You know what? We don't want to go to, do we? Yeah, let's go there. Board at pultimate.ca, and we're going to sign in to the actual Gmail account. So now I'm logging into Gmail. I'm not logging into G Suite. I'm now in Gmail for the board address. And now I have to create a new filter because if we look at the instructions for how we want this to work, we want player dev to forward to Miles Ladder. So I'm going to copy that. Now we're going back to a different browser. We'll go to Firefox. And now in Firefox, I can create a filter. So we're going to, let's see, first thing we're going to do is settings. Let's go to settings, see what happens in settings. Filters, and I've already created one for fields, but let's create one for that player dev. So create a new filter. Anything that's to this player dev one, player dev at pultimate.ca, is going to be filtered. And how are we going to do that? Let's create a filter down here. You can choose to skip the inbox. I'm not going to do any of that, but I am going to add a forwarding address. Oh, Jesus, this is not the page I thought. Add a forwarding address. Okay, so it is the page. Let's do this. Miles Ladder, next. Forwarding mail to, great, proceed. Add the forwarding address. A confirmation code has been sent to milesladder@gmail.com to verify permission. Okay, good. So now that is forwarding to Miles once he verifies, he can do this next step, which is to go to accounts. So now let's pretend we've logged into Miles's account, his Gmail account. So now we're in Miles's Gmail. And in Miles's settings, so now we're going to navigate, okay, let's just say we're in the inbox for Miles. Now we're in Miles's account, we're going to settings. And now in Miles's settings, we're going to accounts. and we're going to add another email address. And here, Miles is going to put in player dev at ultimate.ca. Next step. Oh, Jesus, it's actually doing it. Cool. Okay, so in Miles' email, there will actually be a next step within that window in which he has to confirm. That didn't happen here because Gmail knows this is already set up and tethered together, so it skipped that confirmation. I'm just going to delete the player dev from here, and I'll show you within mine. So let's go back to my inbox, my Gmail, and we're going to pretend that I am logging in as Miles. Let's do this again as if I'm doing it. So now as Miles, I go to settings. And in my settings, I go to accounts and I add another alias. You can see that I've already done this for my Summer Thursday account. So it's add another email address. And this is where Miles clicks this link. And this should be a little bit more normal to the experience of someone externally trying to do this. Player dev at ultimate.ca. Next step, and then it's going to make, we're going to try to verify all of this. So now the password for player dev is actually the board password. So we'll enter that there and then add account. And when I click add account, it's going to ask for a confirmation code. And now we have, if we recall, player dev forwarding to Miles within G Suite here. We've already set that up. So, or rather within Firefox. So I'm going to hop over to Firefox. Within the PUL board email address, we've set up player dev to forward to Miles. And we can probably see that somewhere in here. I'm not sure where I did that, but it's forwarding to Miles. We already did that earlier in the video. So Miles will get the confirmation code and he can verify when it asks for that in his personal Gmail account. And that's the loop. The loop is now completed. Everything is configured as it needs to be. So because I don't have access to any of these accounts, nor do I really want access to these, Miles can go through with that process following this video. So can Holly, so can Lauren, and everybody else who wants to be reconfigured can follow these steps. What you'll need is your own login information and login information for the board at ultimate.ca personal and Gmail account here, this one that I'm now logged into. I won't supply any of that information here, but you can get that from Brad or whoever takes over for Brad in the future. Thanks. That's it. Bye.